Our topic today is about pain. What hurts? What feels impossible? And what do you complain about? So those three things are what we're going to really dig into today, because they lead clues and they can be the things that can really help you figure out how pressure free can play a role to reduce your pain, reduce your hurt, to change what feels impossible into possibility. Here's a little metaphor for you. So most of us live on what I call a stressed out island. It's very stressful. A lot of stuff going down all the time, and we are triggering the stress response a lot. So when I take someone on a little bit of a pressure-free journey, which is what we're doing here in this challenge, it's like we're getting in a boat and we're driving over to the boat that to the island that I call the island of hope and possibility. When you step off on the dock at that island, everybody's got a little bit of a smile on their face. Not huge, but there's this little bit of hope that, yeah, I can change. Yes, something can shift here for me. It's possible to start to make some difference in the things that aren't working for me. Then there's this other island. I call that island pressure-free island. It takes a bigger boat to get there. That boat are my courses that I've built, the online courses, and also my personal coaching. So that takes a bigger boat. We're going to get on that boat and we're going to start going over there if you want. If you want to dig in more, just reach out to me. Just go to speakwithelle.com anytime to book an appointment with me and just learn how this could make a difference in your life with you. In that call, you'll walk away with some things right away that will be impactful for you. So those are, we need to get off a stressed out island, at least onto the island of hope and possibility. That's what we're going to dig into today. So I want you, if you're taking notes, grab your writing utensil and just take a moment and write down a couple of things that hurt, either emotionally or physically in your body. Have you got pain somewhere? Are you dealing with something, a chronic issue, mentally or physically? Have you been given a diagnosis? Are you in remission from a disease? Or are you in a disease and wish it would go into remission? So is there something that's causing you some hurt and some pain? If you can jot down one or two things, doesn't have to be a lot, but something that's pretty key because it happens all the time for you, so that we can begin to work on that. Another thing that can help you come up with this is what feels impossible. Is there a project at work or something you're working on in your life that you wish you could achieve, but it kind of feels impossible, or that you're just not good enough, or you can't do it? So what feels impossible to you? And one of the ways you can figure out some of these things is, what do you complain about? I can remember sitting for hours with various people, and they'll just give you a litany of their problems and their issues, like this constant revolving litany of where they're stuck and what hurts and what feels impossible. And it's what they're complaining about. When I dug into that, I said, okay, what do I complain about? Wow, lots of light bulbs came on. So take a moment and ask yourself, like, what do I complain about a lot? There could be something in there that's your golden nugget that will help you create a target, which again is the first step of the pressure-free method, defining your targets. That's really what we're going to dig into again here, is this idea of, okay, what hurts, what feels impossible, what do you complain about? Somewhere in there is a target. How could you shift it and turn it into something you're aiming for? For example, if you want to be in remission from a certain disease, how can I be in remission from this disease? How can I be healthy? Health is your target. Relief from this pain is your target. If it's something emotional, if there's a relationship that's not quite where you want it to be, how can I improve this relationship? The relationship is the target. If it's something at work, something that feels so difficult, you've just been procrastinating and now you're far behind, how can I accomplish this? How can I get this done? How can I solve this? So see if you can define a target out of these three things: hurts and pains, what feels impossible, and what you complain about. When you've got that target, now I'm going to give you some tools, okay? Because those things are triggers. those things that hurt, those things that feel impossible, and everything you complain about prime you to trigger fight or flight. They are triggers. Some of them are really subtle and you might not even notice them. But if you notice that you're complaining and going into a complaint, watch your body, watch your face. Does it get tight? Do your shoulders go up? Do you have a lot of tension in the front of your body? It's a sure sign that you're priming yourself to trigger fight or flight. So if you can just relax your body, get into your body a little bit, relax and go wide with your shoulders, really open up here. Just relax for a moment. Like we talked about, I think it was day one, we did some of this. Just really relax and relax your belly. That's going to help right away. Instant tool to tell your brain that you're okay and you can begin to solve some of this. If you're in a tense mode, it will feel impossible to solve. If you're in a more open, relaxed front, you'll be able to solve better. I know it sounds crazy and like, how could this really work? But trust me, your body sends signals to your brain and vice versa. So you end up in a countless loop. Is that loop going down? It just keeps going down, or is it going up? So we want to stop the loop from going down and start turning it on. Flip all the switches on so that you can actually get to where you want to go. So let's talk about what feels impossible. One of the tools that I share about projects that feel impossible, procrastination, feeling like an imposter, like you're not good enough for this thing, is to catch yourself having the feeling, whatever it is. And we need to move out of impossibility into possibility. I'm not saying we're getting it done. I'm just saying move to the possibility that we could get it done. That's the first step. Most people jump over that step and then feel frustrated because they don't do anything. So if you can move from this feels hard, this feels impossible, to it's possible that I could get started on this, that's going to open up the possibility that you can actually do it. So if you hear yourself say something like, I'm never going to get that done, or I've always had trouble with this kind of project. I've always, never, you hear yourself using superlatives like that, those words like always, never. If you hear yourself use a word like that, I want you to pause and see if you can change the language that you use about this. And instead of saying, I always have trouble with this kind of project, say, in the past, I've had trouble with this project. I'm now open to the possibility. The moment you say those words, open to the possibility, you literally open up your blood vessels. Like, I am open to the possibility that I use the word elegantly, use whatever word works for you, I could elegantly solve this. Use an adjective though, or adverb, how are you gonna solve it? Like, elegantly solve this. I can smoothly finish this project. Whatever words work for you, so that your brain hears that you're solving. If your brain can hear that you're solving, that's just gonna move things in a really beautiful direction for you. So again, what we're doing is breaking the pattern of saying, I always do this wrong, or I'm never getting this project done. You're pausing and saying, okay, no. What's really true is that in the past, you had difficulty here. In the past, I couldn't do this very well. But now you're open to the possibility that you could move it. Does that make sense? This is really powerful. Just a little switch of language gives your brain completely different ideas to work on, completely different signals. A lot of people ask the why question. Why can't I get this done? If you ask yourself, why can't I get something done? You're going to get all the reasons why you can't. It's the holidays. I'm overwhelmed. I'm too tired. I want to eat. Like all the things, all the reasons. Your brain can come up with a ton of them. But if you ask a question like this, how can I solve this? How can I create something different? How can I finish this project? The moment you ask those questions, your amazing brain wants to get working on that. One of my coaches used to coach me on being really super tough. I almost got tight there, right? Super tough on asking quality questions. quality questions. So that can be an amazing way for you to really get started here. You're breaking the pattern of always telling yourself that you're not good enough, that you'll never get it done. You're breaking that pattern. So that's the what feels impossible thing. What do you complain about? Again, that's going to help you figure this out. But I want to circle back now to what hurts. So if you have something chronic going down that you've had for years, you may have the mindset that it can never shift. If you've always had trouble in relationships, you might just always in your mind say, well, I always have trouble in relationships. I'm just not good at this. So here's the deal. The main reason why you haven't been able to do a lot of things, why you have anything chronic going on in your life, is because when you trigger the stress response, it keeps you in a chronic state of not being well, physically and mentally. So when you're in that chronic state of not being well, first of all, your imagination will go wild because your cognitive functioning is not working very well. So you can just snowball all that negative fake worry that we talked about yesterday. It's so easy to snowball it all. So if you have a chronic disease or you have a predisposition to something genetically, let's say there's heart disease in your family, and you just assume that you're going to also have heart disease at a certain age, or you're creeping into it. You have premetabolic syndrome, or you're going to get diabetes too, or cancer. There's cancer in your family. Anything that's a genetic, you might have a genetic marker for. So you have a little bit of fear. If you have a little bit of fear, that fear constantly gets fed by these hormones. It literally causes you to be more diseased. So I want you to pause it again, just like we did with the idea of what feels impossible. I want you to pause any hurts or pains, chronic disease, anything like that. I want you to pause your thought process on it and say, okay, in the past, I assumed that at some point I'd get some heart disease because everyone in my family has it. I want you to pause that. Say, in the past, you did that. You're now open to the possibilities. You say it to yourself, I'm now open to the possibility that I can shift and change this belief and create healthier habits to release me from that. So you want to create healthier habits. That's where you're going. Now your brain says, oh, you're going to create healthier habits. This is not going to happen for me because I'm moving in a different direction. I've helped so many people go into remission from chronic diseases and stay there. Staying there requires that you continue on the pressure-free path and you don't trigger these hormones, because these hormones, every one of your body processes, everything that your body does, it can't do it as well when you're in fight or flight. If you're athletic, if you do things with your body for work or for play or as an avocation, your body will be able to do much more when you're not constantly flooding it with these stress hormones. So it's hard sometimes to believe because you may have been in pain for a long time. I was with a couple of things, like, massive pain with things for a very long time, both emotional things and physical things. And I didn't think I could ever get out of some of them. Like, it's never going to change. Just not for me. I just have to learn how to live with this. If you hear yourself saying that, I just have to learn how to live with this, pause. There's something in there. There's something you're tolerating, a belief that you're tolerating, and there may be evidence all around you, but you are not a statistic. And I want to end with this idea that you are not a statistic, or you could be a statistic on either side of the statistics, because they're making up statistics about us all the time, right? This was huge for me in coaching one of my clients who statistically, he was looking at statistics and thinking, I don't know if I can achieve this. And I just said, step out of that. Step out of that. I did something once that had zero chance of success. If you looked at the statistics and the past, zero chance. And I did it. So much is possible when you move into belief. So much is possible when you don't trigger fight or flight. So I hope this has been helpful. dig in, watch this again if you need to. What hurts? What feels impossible? What do you complain about? Those are clues to things that are keeping you locked in fight or flight. And even if you can just break one a little bit, it can make a huge difference. So we're at our 15 minutes, and I promised you just 15 minutes. So this is laser focused coaching, and I hope it's been helpful to you. So I will see you tomorrow for day 4 of this little mini challenge that I put together for the holidays hit. Have a great one. Bye.